Sorry if I sound a little congested for this one. I've been a little sick the past couple of days, which is a side effect of watching 11 men wearing blue roll around BMO Field like babies for 2 hours on a Saturday night. But I have been raised by the news that the leader of said Babies in Blue punched a almost child in the head at Yankee Stadium back in March. Hold on a second, I got a notification here. Jesse Marsch has been named the new head coach of the Canadian national football team. The biggest name signed to coach the Canadian national team since Benito Flores. Probably the second biggest ever, maybe even bigger than Benito Flores, because Flores was far removed from his Real Madrid days when he came to coach Canada, and Jesse Marsch fresh off of getting Leeds United relegated from the English Premier League. Now, Canada Soccer was in an interesting spot looking for a new manager after John Herdman left to coach Toronto FC and start throwing out accusations that other MLS coaches are punching his players. Canada was stuck with Mauro Biello as the interim manager, no general secretary, and no money. And also in a position where they are an exciting young team who is looking to bring in a big name manager because we want to be taken seriously in the global footballing world, and we need a manager capable of allowing us to be taken seriously. And so there are a lot of names being thrown around. Carlo Ancelotti, Jose Mourinho supposedly maybe got called. I don't believe that for a second. Frank Lampard supposedly rejected the job. Another weird one, but given that we just signed Jesse Marsch, he's more in the realm of possibility. And after all those guys said no and dropped out of the running, and Canada's default football manager, when you're in a time of questioning, started rising up from Hamilton, Jesse Marsch comes in and takes the job. Bit of Jesse Marsch background for those who aren't that familiar with him. MLS OG player from 1996. Played in MLS for 13 years, racking up over 300 appearances between DC United, the Chicago Fire, and Chivas USA. Upon retiring from professional football, he became an assistant manager of the US national team in 2010. Following a 2-year stint with them, joined the Montreal Impact to be their head coach in the 2011 and 2012 seasons. That is the Canadian connection for Jesse Marsch coming into this national team coaching role. Following that was a rise to glory, managing the New York Red Bulls, Red Bull Salzburg in the Austrian Bundesliga, RB Leipzig in the Bundesliga, and Leeds United in the English Premier League. Guys who manage in the Bundesliga and Premier League don't just drop out of the sky, and it's incredibly rare for Canada Soccer to get a manager who's even sniffed those levels of managing. Now, Marsch has not seen much success as a manager since the Red Bull Salzburg days, but he definitely is a guy with some hefty qualifications. Now, managing is basically completely random with hiring managers what you're going to get, because there are guys with very impressive resumes who come in and actually kind of suck at managing, and then there are guys who have almost nothing in their management resume and come in and are absolutely fantastic. Like, just because someone has high levels of experience doesn't mean they're going to be a great manager. Look at Bob Bradley with Toronto FC. The guy managed Newcastle in the Premier League and was miserable in MLS. However, Jesse Marsch is an experienced manager. He saw success in MLS. He saw success in Austria. He's had success at multiple different levels. You'd imagine he's more well suited to the CONCACAF game, and supposedly he has beef with US Soccer and does not like them at all right now, which that is the type of fire you want managing Canada with the rivalry we are forming with the United States in past years. Overall, I think it's foolish to jump to conclusions about how a manager will do right when they come into a team. Like, you don't know how the players on the team are going to gel with them, how they're going to manage the team, if they're going to stick with past formations and past tactics that they've used or adjust them for a new team. All I can say is, coming into this summer with the friendlies against the Netherlands and France and the Copa America, it is a very tough assignment for Jesse Marsch. Like, losing all 5 games is basically the expected result from that 5-game stretch in the summer. If he can get a win over Peru or points against Chile in the Copa America, we are doing great under him, especially as a guy who's just taking charge of the team. In the end, after the Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago games, it was very clear we were in a anyone but Biello panic mode going into this summer. And Jesse Marsch is anyone but Biello. He is definitely an improvement over what we had. He's, again, a guy with caliber. He's a guy who's such a big name that Fabrizio Romano tweeted about it. Definitely a manager who makes us relevant on the global scale, which it seems like is what we were going for with signing him, and like the names we were looking at was we wanted basically the cheapest manager possible that would be relevant on the global scale, and Jesse Marsch perfectly fits that bill. And he has massive motivation to do well at Canada, because coming out from getting Leeds relegated, if he comes to Canada now and sucks, that's basically his high-level professional managing career done. But if he has good times with Canada, he can turn that around and get himself back into the high-level management conversations that he wants to be in. So a manager who's a splash on the global market, that has everything to lose and everything to gain at Canada. Good signing overall. I think he's going to be very motivated to make this team do well, and I think he is going to be a solid manager for Team Canada. If the first couple games kind of suck, he's playing very strong opposition in his first couple games. So wait until the Nations League. But this is a management situation for Jesse Marsch where he should say, hope for a quarterfinals appearance in the Copa America. If we get that, that is blowing expectations out of the water, but it's not a disaster if the Copa America doesn't turn out well. And then when we get to the Nations League in the fall, that's a tournament that we push for a finals appearance, maybe push to win that competition. And that right there will be the first true test for Jesse Marsch as manager for Canada. Not really the Copa America, that's more of his lead-in tournament, and that's a hard challenge right off the bat. But I'm going to hold off massive judgment until that CONCACAF Nations League in the fall. So that is for this video. As always, if you like to hit like, if you want to see more of my stuff, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, link is down below in the description. If you're from New York, stop punching 19-year-olds in the head, and I'll see you next time.